just finished my painting called Fully Live, and I'm glad to be done, but I feel weird. I thought I would feel so happy to be done, and I am, but it's almost like I'm not as satisfied with the painting as I want to be. I just felt like I wanted it to be this like grand thing that I finished, and I mean, it's cool. I'm not disappointed with it. That's not what this is. I don't know what the feeling is. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like, you put a thing on a pedestal, and I've been working on this for, gosh, I don't even remember when I started it. It was definitely a couple months ago. Let's see. I first posted this August 27th. Or, well, around there, because that's when I posted the first video. So that would be almost 2 months exactly it took me to finish this painting, which is actually not as long as I thought, which is kind of nice. I do like this painting. To me, it symbolizes the struggle and the beauty of pursuing, not yourself, just kind of being comfortable with being who you are. Like, the struggle of figuring out what you want in life, figuring out who you want to be, and then the difficulty of letting that out, like letting that grow and letting people see that can be really hard. And I think the thing with this painting, and the reason I'm feeling the way that I am, because I'm not disappointed, I'm happy with it, but I guess I wanted a little bit more for it, and I think that my skill level is just not there yet. Like, I wanted to show her face a little bit more. I wanted to show her emotions a little bit more, and like, I wanted to show some struggle, some pain on her face. I wanted to paint tears and relentlessness or grit, maybe. Like, I want this painting to represent the beauty and the grit that it takes to pursue the things that you want in life, and to pursue your passions, and to pursue being yourself. And I'm happy with it. I know I keep saying that. I am, but I feel like it doesn't quite portray exactly what I wanted. Like, I ended up covering her eye with hair because I just couldn't figure out how to get it to look right. I couldn't figure out how to get her eye right. And it just got weird. Maybe I should let it be weird. I don't know. I just didn't want it to be weird. I also really wanted to paint light coming out of her chest. I wanted to paint the butterfly as if it is, I mean, it is emerging from her chest, but it almost looks like it's behind her. And I started painting that. I started painting the light, and it got weird, and I was afraid that I was gonna ruin it. I was afraid I was gonna mess up the painting, and I guess that in itself is kind of symbolic of what I'm trying to paint. Like, yes, it's beautiful, and the butterfly is beautiful, but the butterfly itself has so much symbolism, which is why I end up painting them a lot. And I don't know, it feels weird to just paint butterflies. It feels very like rainbows and butterflies and unicorns. And I never thought I would be painting so many butterflies, but they really do have a lot of symbolism, and they go through a lot of struggle to become beautiful. Like, they basically liquefy and then are rebuilt with the wings and the color and the flight. It's like the ultimate metaphor in my head of the struggle that it is. Like, it's exciting and it's beautiful, but it's also really hard and very vulnerable, for sure. And it's painful. Like, it can be very painful. But it's also symbolic of, if we don't go through that, then it's really not going to be what it was intended to be. Because if you help a butterfly out of its cocoon, then it doesn't survive. It fails if it has an easy way out. It needs the struggle to survive and become what it is supposed to be. And you can interpret it however you want. This painting is as much for you as it is for me. I mean, all of my paintings start out as for me. They, in my mind, are a representation of how I see the world and how I interpret the emotions and the feelings and the struggle. And I know that sounds very poetic and artistic. I'm not trying to be cliche. I really just, it really is how I see the world. And part of what makes art really cool is that, we can look at the same painting, and while I think a lot of the times what we feel is along the same lines, we can interpret it in totally different ways that are unique to our perspective, our experiences, and the struggles that we see and the beauty that we see as well. I also had a really hard time naming this. I, for a long time, called it the unnamed painting. For a moment when I was painting this, I was going through something really hard. I was in the middle of this. I went through a time where I was in a really dark place, and I was just really angry and experiencing a lot of negative emotions about my life and in my life, and that's kind of where I started wanting to paint her face as if she was in pain. And I don't want to just portray negativity and pain, but I just really felt like there was a lot of struggle even in the things that are going to turn out beautiful. Like, it sucks sometimes. It just really sucks. But I don't know. In the middle of this, I was trying to think about what I wanted to name it, and I kind of came up with a lot of really negative terms, like negative things that in the moment I was really feeling those things, and in the moment I wanted to portray those things, but it never really felt right, even though, yeah, those names never really felt right. But near the end of this painting, and that's kind of the pattern I have, like, I struggled to name this painting, but I think it was because I was trying to name it too soon. Pretty much all of my paintings, I didn't know what the name was until I finished it, and then the name comes. And I like that process, but with the other ones, I didn't stress it. I wasn't trying to think of a name while I was painting it, but this one I was like, kind of trying to force the name out of it. I needed to just let it go, and I did, eventually. I figured out how to let it go, and then that's when Fully Alive emerged, if you will. I guess this painting to me, obviously it means a lot, but I think the biggest theme about this painting is that it just symbolizes the struggle. And the splatters, if you look at them this way, because I kind of see them, they are bright and pretty and colorful, but they are also kind of gory. They're splatters, and they're coming out of her chest, and if it was red, it would look really gory. So it's, to me, it really is a representation of the struggle and the pain that life can be, but also the worth that it can have and the value that comes out of that pain and that struggle. And if you think about, like, to her, this is painful. The butterfly coming out of her chest is not comfortable, but to the outside world looking at it, it's beautiful. And that's something that I have to remember, is that sometimes when all I can see is the pain and the struggle and the difficulty, the people around you, the people watching you accomplish the things that you are doing, are amazed by you. They're amazed by what you can do. They're amazed by how far you've come. They can see how far you've come, even when you can't. Even when you're in the middle of it and it sucks. They can see it. And that really helps me, and I have to remember that when I'm feeling just like my feet are stuck in the mud. It helps me to remember that people see something different, and they see how far you've come,